Two. Salutations and greetings. My name's Marge. I'm Hail Empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. Being an empath, man, you're always feeling some kind of way. There's a lot of human beings that frickin' have figured out how to not feel. It's weird. I don't know how they do it. I can't get through life without feeling some kind of way. So, sometimes I'm standing turtle. Standing turtles don't run. This is a really cool freaking rattle. I was dancing with it yesterday. Setting my positive intention. Mother Earth, Spirit, God, Creator, Source. You know. A heart space of love. Or just don't want to hurt nobody. People just like to go around hurting people, causing harm, and I don't even get it. So, anyway, I was reminded I was in Keejan's live earlier. She did a premiere with Trudeau. She freaking makes my goofy face smile, man. She comes up with, sometimes she'll say these one-liners that I just like bust out loud. And usually it's like when I'm out walking the dogs, you know. And she reminded me about how we create the weather. I've done talks about this before, but shoot, you know, stuff just falls through the cracks of obscurity. So, you know, I don't mind being redundant from time to time, so I'll repeat myself. It bears repeating. And, you know, we all have negative and positive in us. We all have masculine and feminine. We all, you know, we all have all these different energies with these full spectrum of energies. I picture it in my mind like a disco ball. And every little mirror on that disco ball is a character aspect of our personality, you know. You can also look at that as being, you know, everyone is directly like a little piece of that is like collectively it's God and everybody puts their own little spark, positive or negative, you know. And there's sometimes I'm very, very negative and I gotta freaking force myself to come out of it. I gotta get busy. I have to get out of my head for lack, because that's when I start getting, you know, my ego gets hurt or I start feeling like woeful because I'm thinking about stuff that happened to me that I don't got no control over, or worried about stuff that hasn't happened yet in the future that I don't got no control over. And see, I was told a long time ago, and it makes sense to me, so that's how it becomes my truth too, because it makes sense in my heart too, that God can't be with you. He's not in the past, and God's not in the future. He's only with you in the present. And that is the gift. But it's hard to be present, man. There's outside stressors, you know. The world tells you what to be afraid of. Not put your high vibrational frequency of vibration of fear, right? So everybody's just, oh, scared, right? And then, you know, people are afraid to die. So you tell them that their risk of that is higher. It makes that their already heightened fearful state even more fearful. And so don't people know what placebos are? You know? Take that sugar tablet, but they tell you it's that miracle drug to fix whatever ails you. You know, and when people, this is how I see that people control how we create and influence the weather. Because say you got a town, 8,000 people in it, right? And you got more than half of that amount of people, they're just negative. They're just freaking in it for themselves. They sell their mother to sell their soul. They don't got no good orderly direction. They're just living in, you know. And then you have less than that of the high vibrational that, you know, that understand God, source, mother nature, you know, the rules of the universe, stuff like that. You don't hurt people. You don't do harmful things to other people. You know, you don't. Money's not supposed to matter more than other human beings ever. And anyway, so when it's more negative, you know, there's this duality. There's this, and it create. There's like so much negativity because each person is more negative or positive. Everybody's both, but sometimes people have a propensity to be one or the other. People my whole life have told me I'm a negative person. I'm like, dude, all I do is talk about circumstances in my life which have happened. I'm not putting negative or positive. I'm just a recorder of history. And so I don't put any emotional freaking nothing. Sometimes I do because, like when I well up, when I tell a story, I'll well up and I'll get emotional. That's because I'm putting myself in the heart space of people that are going through those experiences I went through and I processed. They're going through that now, or they ain't never processed it before. So that's why it's so important to keep my vibe high and being positive, because I can get negative and stay negative, because I have that. Because I just see I see full range, and I often, if I say something negative, I'll try and wrap it up. I'll try and balance it out with something positive. It's important to keep things in balance. And for a lot of years, my energy wasn't balanced because I didn't understand how energy works. So how could I balance it? I have a lot of masculine energy in my birth chart. Just naturally. It's just how God made me. And then growing up in a weird time in history, But people kind of let me be but I've been kicked in the face and knocked down a flight of stairs. Yeah. Yeah, I got the wrong idea. I don't know. It just weird stuff happens. I don't know, there's no reason to ever treat another human being like that, but there's so many gross kind of ways that human beings treat other people, and they get their rocks off on it, and it's twisted and it's weird and it's gross. People gotta stop hurting each other and causing harm. People have their wound. Everybody's been hurt by something. And if you're going through this life, it ain't nothing like seriously like crazy, traumatic, nothing wild has ever seriously happened to you. I guess those folks can ask themselves, what are they doing to make it a little bit freaking sweeter and nicer for us meek? Because we're all a little hypersensitive waiting for the freaking next freaking thing to happen, because so many freaking weird things have happened. Weird stuff. So it was kind of a bummer. Zach got freaking his videos. He was out in Seattle, Pikes Peak. I only was up there one time when I lived in Oregon. I drove up there to see Sadhguru. Got a bunch of pictures. Luna, stop. Stop. Tucker, stop it. She doesn't want you in his face anymore. No more suckling. So, that sucks because I didn't discover Zach until freaking, recently. It was after I got to, New Mexico. So, if I would have known about him when I was right there and he came down to I would have gone up to meet him in Portland. Absolutely. But, everything is divine timing. And it wasn't time. But I really respect what he does. I see him it's funny, and then I saw him, when he gets keyed up, he just, I do it too. People that, I don't know, it's how to explain it. Or I have done it before. I could do it again, who knows. But, when you get keyed up, it's just he gets into a mode. And then later he talked about it, and he was talking to somebody, and he was explaining, when you get, you get in a heightened emotional state, he's like, you're in an elevated state, and he was addressing it to somebody else that was doing it, but I don't know if he recognizes it in himself. I wonder about that. Why are you growling? What are you doing? You're slobbery. You're all slobbery. Are you not in the mood? You don't want it no more? Huh? She got to go for a ride in the post office. Yesterday, Aaron sent some, what are they called? Butter kisses? Is that what they're called? I gotta look. They're See's candy, and they're caramel with marshmallow. Oh God, they're so good. They're so good. So, what are they called? I gotta give credit where credit's due. I gotta get the name right. Scotch Kisses. Well, after eating pizza the last couple days, I didn't really want anything heavy for dinner, and Mom didn't either. So I'm like, Mom, how about a sweet potato? I make a sweet potato. So I made a sweet potato, and I put one of those on it. And it freaking... Actually, it's really freaking good. I didn't put it on Mom's. Mom doesn't like... She doesn't like... She likes everything plain. It is so funny sometimes how I came from her. Because we were just such... Aside from our faces looking exactly alike, we really are very different. It's weird. I don't know, because we ain't never been like mother-daughter. I never like had a parent where I freaking sat on people's lap and they're like, it's okay. It'll be alright. Nope, it's get your bags. We gotta get out of here. They're after us. It's been rough, man. It's been rough. We didn't always have that great, you know. She didn't do things that I respect. I identified as respectable behavior, so for years and years I had a hard time with her. I had that attitude of, well, she gets what she deserves. You know. I didn't have that. I didn't come to her with love. I didn't know how to love her. You know, we were estranged from birth because we didn't meet till I was day 3. And it wasn't her fault. And I think that her, somehow, vibrationally, her body, like, remembers, like, the change of what happened when I came to be. Because, I mean, for, like, in my high school years, there's, like, every month, go live with your father. Go live with your dad. Go live with Greg. Go live with Greg. Go live with Greg. And the bummer of it is he didn't want me either. So... Look at the star, or climb up on the fence and get up on the roof and go play pinball, or drink coffee at Denny's, or Harry's, until midnight on a school night, you know, or IHOP, or Denny's. So, it's all bittersweet, you know. It depends on what your life course is, you know. So things can happen and you can look at them as a learning experience. You can look at them as negative. You can look at them as positive. But collectively, where are you spending your vibrational frequency most of the time? We're going to find out. This is going to be one of those winners that is, I feel like a couple years ago, was that 2019, the year that off it? Once you get on it, you don't get off it. The flight line ended up underwater, you know? I mean, people want to know that it's a crock. I got story after story after story. It's just evidence of things that I have seen personally and directly. And everybody knows it. The only people that says it's not like that are the people that benefit from it, that are doing it. And then the people that profit from these people doing it. You know? Yeah. I think it's weird how easy it is. I've seen people, I'm like, God, they've sold their soul. They really sold their... Well, and when I think of soul, I mean, yeah, they could do it literally. That happens too. But the thing of it is I have a course of direction. I have a true north in myself. And I've identified from a very young age that people grow up either closer or more in line with spirit, God, source, whatever, or you're more their ego, and then the ego can lead people to very dark places and to do very dark things. See, people don't think that human beings do these monstrosities to other human beings because they themselves can't do them. So just because you can't do something doesn't mean that there aren't people that have no problem doing some really weird stuff for whatever reason. You know? There's a universe for every human being on this planet. For every there's a perception of a perspective from every human being on this planet. And then like how each individual sees the planet kind of creates the earth for everyone. And what they do is they create division. They create separation, because going back to what I was saying earlier, specifically on the specific latitudes and longitudes, the important ones, like every 5 degrees, you got major cities in these points, you create contention, spark. We create the weather. The cool part is, though, and it's tested and it's been verified in like, I mean, because they control the weather, but we can freaking direct storms with group consciousness of just directing it, like, go the other way, hurricane, whatever. You know, and if more people think about that, the good wins. The good wins more often than it doesn't. Jessie Zaboter disclosed some pretty cool stuff last night. She did about, you know, how, and some of it I knew already. Some of it was like, oh, okay. And some of it I've got bits and pieces from her talks before. Nonetheless, I did get to learn new things. Oh, and I think, oh boy got butthurt. I think freaking Right On Radio got his feelings hurt that she did that on somebody else's channel that she hasn't, because she's done, I think that's what I think. He's trying to be diplomatic, dude, but he's a salesman. He got his ego gets bruised. So, anyway, we'll find out tomorrow. Because he wasn't even in the chat. Why were you in the chat, homeboy? Y'all supportive and whatnot. If you're gonna be supportive, you gotta be supportive at all the times, even the times that you don't like. Oh, whatever. Something you got it. Something more important came up. I'm sure. Anyway, but it kind of lets you in, and then people like me put stuff together too. I send her messages, you know. I get oh god, I put things together. I'm sure she gets that from like a gazillion people. But it is cool because I gotta, I send her I send people pictures when I think about them. And, every now and again. And so I sent her pictures of like the skyline and stuff around here, and I got one tonight, and that was cool. It made me feel good. So, but yeah, we're gonna have a doozy of a storm season because there's so much polarity. There's so much, people have so much, you know, they're battling within themselves, the negative and the feminine within them, instead of working it out between, you know, because there's a time and place for everything. There's a time and place. I've got to be all soft and cuddly like a, you know, like a lady. And then there's a time and place when I got to freaking, all right, let's just do this and get it done. And bring out more of the masculine energy. But one, you know, it's not that... You know, but, you know, most of the time it's a balance. Most of the time it's a balance. It's being congruent in both. People have just been told how they should live their lives and how they're supposed to act and how they're supposed to be. And people just, you know, people aren't much different than a computer. You keep telling somebody something over and over, they're going to start, it's going to be their reality and their truth. And I was one of those, I was like, nuh-uh. That's not how it is. Because I get duped a lot, too. That's how I learned, because I've been suckered. You know? I fall for stuff, because I believe stuff, because I tell people the truth. And people that don't tell people the truth think that I'm lying. And that tells me that I'm dealing with a liar. People tell us who they are, man. It's funny. They usually tell me who. Oh, that's what I was gonna talk about too. Said Wendy. Ahmad, that's so high, naked, and laughing too. I didn't see the chat. Keegan also mentioned that how windy it is, because here in New Mexico, like today, I had to call my Mr. Iski because I even told him, I'm like, dude, I think I freaking died in a past life in a crazy, insane. So I know I died in Atlantis. But there's another one. There's like a crazy storm, and when I lived in Omaha, I saw there was a tornado out my window. And the next day it was recorded like 90 plus an hour of winds. I mean, it was the whole experience of it sounded like a train and stuff like that, and the whole neighborhood looked like a freaking war zone. But in Keejan's talk earlier, she was talking. That's how it reminded me, because it was talking in the talk about how windy it was, and I was like, shoot, it was so windy here. And then other people in the chat were like, it's windy in Oklahoma, and then someone's like, it wasn't windy in Virginia Beach. And I thought about you, naked and laughing, or Virginia. I don't think they said, or maybe it was North Carolina, wherever they said were from. I think it was Virginia. But all the other places said that it was very windy, so verified that in Toronto it's very windy. And freaking here, like, because I get nervous, and I'm trying because I don't know how I freaking spin up so much. I know what they do with the freaking internet. They designate that your system needs more to connect and run as it should. And then they set the frequency up and down, so you oftentimes need more data. That's what all the buffering and stuff is about. So you need more. They just want more. They're just being resource hogs. It's all. And then so you run through all your data, and then you gotta, go to the higher tier. And it's just like, dude, quit expecting so much. But anyway. So yeah, that's what got me thinking that we create this, because there's so many people with all this energy, especially with this Pisces new moon right now that's happening. It's got these, it's a big I almost feel like it's bigger than a full moon this month, but that's me. It's big. The energy's big. There's a huge shift. I look at it as a deck of cards, and for every there is a timeline, and all these people have all these different timelines. I feel like I'm in the past. I feel like sometimes that me and Mom are guidely freaking plucked up, and just the bullshit just misses us. And sometimes people fall into our radar, and then sometimes they don't, But my circle is small. But I was just really interesting that I was reminded of that, and there's nothing like Midwest storms too, but we create that. So if people freaking were more chill, people would see a difference in the weather, or focus on better weather, But people are cold-hearted, so look how much snow. Look at all the frozen hearts, all the frozen hearts, all the stone-cold hearts created all this snow this year, People all scared to death. That's what this is. That's what you interject fear in society. People become, for the fearful people are easy targets, But the faithful people, I care what people believe in. But at the same time, who was it? I think it was that dude on the Reveal Report. What's his? Can't remember. Is he a George? Is he a George? I think he's a George. Anyway, he was talking about it. He's just like, well, people don't go to church no more. They don't pray no more. They don't do all that stuff. And the people that the people that perpetuate the Lucy fairy tale theater, they're the ones that are freaking praying from 8, 9 o'clock at night, doing their crazy wackadoo seances until 2 o'clock in the morning, when the cleanup crew comes in. Who's dedicated. So is it really a wonder that the Lucy fairy tale theater got so big? It's not really a wonder to me. I lived from ego for years. You know what happened when I started living from heart? I became a stay-at-home daughter. Work-from-home daughter. Yeah, because it was revealed to me that I can't leave mom anymore. So whatever I do, I get to do in like 2-hour increments, 3-hour increments, because she needs attention from time to time. So what does that one say? Oh, it was really windy the other day. It's like, I don't know, it's a trip. And I played with it just like me being like on the beach or just out driving. I played with it, I've played with like thinking about my emotions and gusts of wind and stuff like that. It's a trip. We have far more power than people realize. I think about all the stuff that has happened in my life, and then but I thought before it happened, man, that'd suck if it happened. I wonder how many of those things wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have had the thought, man, that'd suck if that would happen. That'd suck if that girl that I liked for years and years slept with my roommate. That would suck. Because I not only was she with my roommate, but no, actually we weren't. We worked together too in the same work center. People actually went to contracting, fluffing numbers. It's all money laundering. Are people figuring that out? It's like you don't even know who to donate anymore, because if you really looked into it, you might be freaking perpetuating that Lucy fairy tale theater too. It's a trip. It's all not false for profits. It's all false for profits. Because it's just like, man, you got all these not-profits, all these organizations to help people. Dude, I connected the homeless veteran freaking hotline. They did jack shit. Maybe it's just me. Maybe other people had freaking wonderful experiences with them. But all these big old huge organizations that they're just, money is purged into them so they can freaking buy all their freaking letter stock freaking fancy paper and freaking, their catered lunches and shit like that. Right? But, the help never gets to the people that need it. So what people are finding out is they got to help each other. You got to learn how to freaking help each other. Or find people that you want to be in alignment with, that you want to know, man. It's getting hard to even freaking find people even care to even know. And I ain't never been one to go by looks. And I'm not really much of the judgmental type either. I look at judgments as declarations of what people wouldn't do, and then people that do that are like, wow, man, it creates distinction, cognitive dissonance, but they're by the grace of God go I, because it's not, I was always under the impression and told whatever, programmed that you don't see. It's so windy, it makes me nervous. What was I saying? I was taught. Nope, it's gone. Shit, I think it was good too. It's just not supposed to be. I just got out of the shower. I took a really hot shower. And you know what? Another thing, you become more sensitive. Sometimes when people get older, they become more sensitive. Sometimes they become more desensitized. Whatever, but I'm getting more sensitive, because like I used to be able to tolerate scalding hot water, and then now it's like I can't tolerate temperatures as much anymore. I'm turning into this big old ninny sissy. So I haven't been meditating either. Wait, I've been laying in the sun, laying there and zoning out, but like I haven't done any. I haven't listened to any and like focus for an hour or not focus for an hour. I haven't gone into the void for an hour and in a couple of days, so I need to do that. I'm often trying to, you know, get people to understand the importance of meditate state, and so I can't be saying that and then not doing that. So anyway, did my thumb downer strike yet? Did they? I got a thumb downer. Oh, I guess I could have looked on my phone because I can't really tell here. Oh, and you know what's weird? I told the stories last night about how my mom ended up in a Atascadero State Mental Hospital for the criminally insane. I talked on my talk last night for like 30... It had to be about 37 minutes, maybe even 40, maybe even longer. But when it was all said and done, it was freaking shortened down to like 8 minutes and 41 seconds. Or something like that, or 7 minutes and 4... I was just like, dude, I know I talked way longer than that. So, can't remember what I was looking at. I didn't sleep last night either because it was windy all night. So I woke up and it was like probably 2:30. And then when I settled back down to try and focus, I'm like, if I don't go back to sleep, I'm going to be up for the day. And I didn't really want that. So I tried to, I got cozied in about 4, slept another couple hours because mom's been getting up early. I think the time changes except for Arizona. Yeah, it was good. It was good. That freaking anyway. Yeah, the time changes. So, which is weird because I never know exactly when it's gonna happen. But my body does. And the dogs do too. Like, they've been freaking fussy like at 4 instead of 5. And they usually eat at 5. So it's like they already... It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of a trippy. I saw a meme. I shared it with Mom. I thought it was hilarious. Because it's kind of true. I took a picture of it. Because I'm an Aries, my birthday's coming up. I love my freaking birthday. Birthdays are the only holiday I really like. People are all pissed off about 4th of July. I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit if they don't have fireworks. I hate those stupid things. That'd be rad if they went away altogether. Anyway, Aries. I'm not attracted to people who are too attractive. I like a touch of ugly. I don't know how to explain it or word it. And I was like, that's so funny. A touch of ugly. And then I was explaining it to Mom. I'm like, you can't have them too good looking, Ma. Because then too many people will look. And then they might be looking back at too many people. So if you keep them a little ugly. Oh my god, it was so funny. She was laughing, I was laughing. Nothing's come up from the latest development about how Mom has actual blood relatives within like 30 miles from where we are. That we were finding after like 70 years. Anyway, no big deal, but nothing's really happening with that. But I was talking to the lady at the tax shop. She's like, you got to be careful about who you date then, huh? I was like, I don't date. Are you kidding me? Really? That's funny. I got a lot of people, this is what they would call baggage. My life commitments. Not a lot of room. I don't even have friends in real life, you know. People are so closed off. It's a trip. I want to turn that light back on. Who is that? Is that my tuk-tuk? But it was funny because they're like, yeah, because you never know who you're related to. And I'm like, I need to have one of those DNA tests done. People are like, no, don't do that. I'm like, dude, they already have my stuff. They already got all my stuff. Huh. Anyway. Alright, I think I've been rambling on long enough. I try to stay consistent in a world of very inconsistent freaking things. It would suck that Zach put all that effort into and they took all of his videos down. But there's a lot of people that hung out and watched it, so it's not like the message didn't get out, you know? So it's going to be a deal where more people are going to have to get out in real life and do stuff in real life, things like that. So I don't know. Winter still a touch long, a little bit longer. But God, and then we're into freaking hurricane season and tornado season, all that stuff. So it's gonna be a trip. It's gonna be a wild ride, and not to mention all the earthquakes and stuff that are still going on. Earthquakes and all that other stuff that are earth changes that are happening. So